What are the biggest names in EV? You'll guess the easy ones, of course, like Tesla or BYD. Those are car makers, though. What about the units that power those cars? I'm talking about batteries. It's equally important, if not more. And one country is monopolizing this industry. That country is China. Just look at this list. The top battery makers for electric vehicles. At number 1 is CATL. It stands for Contemporary Amperex Technology Limited, CATL. Chances are you've never heard of this company. But look at its market share. It's almost 37% as of last year. 1 out of 3 batteries sold are made by this company, CATL, and its clients are the likes of Tesla, Volkswagen, and BMW. At number 2 on our list is BYD. They have around 16% market share. Now guess what's common between these two firms? CATL and BYD. Both are Chinese. Together, they make up 53% of all EV batteries. So randomly take 2 electric vehicles, one of them will have a Chinese battery. Do you see why that's a problem? Going forward, most vehicles are expected to be electric, and those vehicles will need batteries. If China controls that market, it gives them power. They can choke rival countries or drive up prices or use the batteries as a bargaining chip. A bit like the Gulf does with oil. So what are other countries doing? The US is pressuring local car makers, for example, Ford. CATL and Ford struck a deal to build batteries in Michigan. But American politicians opposed it. So Ford is scaling back this project. The factory's proposed capacity has been cut by 40%, 40. But why not ban it completely? Why not remove Chinese batteries from the markets altogether? Because alternatives are few. You see, China has played the long game here. They've made themselves indispensable in this industry. And they've done so with 3 steps. The first was acquiring raw materials. In this case, the raw material is lithium. It's a silvery metal used to make batteries. Now, China has around 8% of the world's lithium. The rest they're buying. In the last 2 years, China has bought stakes in 20 lithium mines, 20. Most of them are in Africa and Latin America. So that's raw material check. The next step is refining it. Again, China has a head start. In the last 4 years, the world has spent $300 billion on battery factories. China made up 74% of that. So that's processing, also check. The final step was helping these battery makers flourish. They've been given massive state subsidies. In fact, CATL topped the list. They got $391 million in 6 months. So naturally, they're ahead. Experts say American firms will take 5 to 10 years to catch up. Imagine that, a whole decade just to catch up. So the world finds itself in a tough spot. On the one hand, you need EVs, and by extension, you need batteries. On the other, you cannot bet on Chinese supply chains. They're simply not reliable. So what's the solution? One is to use regulatory powers to legally reduce the dependence on Chinese batteries. China may complain at first, but eventually they'll have to agree. After all, a lot of money is at stake. Beijing has invested billions of dollars in this industry. Eventually, they will want returns, which is why the likes of CATL are striking a conciliatory tone. They've denied collecting or sharing American data. The second solution is to think domestic, to build your own battery factories. Let's consider India. We import 100% of our lithium. Basically, there is no domestic production. Out of these imports, 95% is from China. So New Delhi is looking to diversify. In January, the government decided to invest $24 million in Argentina. The plan is to develop 5 lithium mines there. Of course, all of this is going to take time. Most experts say it could take at least a decade. But it's important to work in this direction. It's never ideal to keep buying critical resources from abroad, and in this case, the supplier is not even your ally. It's a strategic rival in China. So expect the battle for batteries to heat up in the coming years.